Hello, everybody. This is Carol from Friendly Quail, and we are at day 12 of 12 days of pockets. So this is going to be the last of this series, and we'll be going on to something new, but this is kind of going to be a fun one. I think you'll enjoy it. I based it on this. This is a pocket, a floating type pocket that I got from a gal in England, and she sent it to me. She sent me a number of things. We had been in an exchange with a swap. We swapped journals on a Facebook page, and then she sent me some things. So I've had this, and I haven't used it because I wanted to copy it. So it's made with an envelope, and I played with it, and I have a number of different things that I made, and then I'm going to show you how I did it. I did a couple for my circus journal. I found this size envelope. I had these. She had one of these in here. It's one of those, can't think of the name, but they were really popular for a while, and they're kind of bright and everything, so I tea dyed it. And that's what's inside of it. Now, here we go. But I had some envelopes like this, and I tea dyed them. So this one, I did put something on the back, and I have, like she had done, a little bit of cheesecloth in. So I'll show you how I did that. And on this side, just some music paper and some pretty decorations. This is another one I made for the for my circus journal. I got a card here, and on this side I put it totally on the side, so this one doesn't have, you know, the envelope flap showing. A couple of my excuse me, a couple of my envelopes when I did them got a little funky. They got stuck together funny. I think that's why I didn't do that on that side. Here's another one. This one I did a book page on the bottom, and this is from a Stamperia set, and used one of those things that I bought that I soaked them apart. You got 4 out of 1, otherwise it's a cardboard thing. And then on this side I did the same thing. I put some cheesecloth in there, and use this card. I tea dyed these as well to make them a little different. Okay, this one I have the book page, and I had cut these little things out of a Stampington page from the magazine. And it says Meemaw Brian. And I put memories up here. This one has the tab on it. And on this side, I put some lace. So I'm going to be showing you how to do this. And this is scrapbook cardstock. And then this one is made not as a floating pocket. I didn't put anything on the back. This one would be a regular pocket. Again, you know, you don't have to do it floating. You can put it right in. So I just did this one. This would be like for in a sewing journal. This was a page from a DMC book, and I put some DMC wrappers on it, and it has a little Valentine on here. I'm so sure you're the one for me. Be my Valentine. And a little snap that I got in with some buttons or something. So that one would have to be glued in, or I could do the back, but I didn't. It needed to be glued shut. It was kind of another funky one. So this is what I'm going to show you how to do today. Plus I have a bonus of using a bag. I have to show you something though before. This is my Mother's Day card from my son, and it's a beautiful card. It has, you know, glitter on it, and it's a mushy card, you know, you're the best mom and all that. And but my son, who's in his 40s, bought that card partially because of this envelope. He thought, you could use that in your journal, Mom. So isn't that sweet? I mean, you can't beat that. Your family knowing that you want to use it in your journal. Then he got me a silly birthday card. It was my birthday yesterday. Is she dancing now? I can't look. It says, have fun on your birthday, you know, and do something that embarrasses your kids. And he wrote in it, shouldn't be that too hard for, you know, for you to do that. I guess I embarrass him a lot. Okay, so I'm going to show a couple of different versions. Now, when I did the sewing on the, like, there's sewing on here, and I just did crooked sewing twice around. I did that before I put it on the envelope because I didn't want, you know, you can't sew it shut. So this one, I just used some very old book paper. This was a piece of Stamperia design, I think. And I glued that on there and I sewed it. And now I'm ready. I'm going to be making the rest of it. And I'm going to be putting this on this side. So I'm going to show you how you do that, where you cut that. And I have some decorations to put on here. So I think I'll do this first. And what I do is I slide it in upside down, and this is going to be cut open. This will be the top. So what I do is I kind of slide my paper over to that edge, because then when I flip it around, it'll be a little closer to this edge, and I'll have a place to cut off. Sometimes you don't get it perfect, but that's okay, because you end up putting that cheesecloth in there. So what I do is I just mark on my piece where that is. Okay, now I'm going to cut that. And cut it apart. This is actually paper rather than cardstock. So this will be going on here, and this will be going on here, and it'll make the full piece. Okay, so what I do then, I need to do some inking. I inked around the outside before, so now I'm just going to ink where I cut it. I usually tend to put this one on first, and you see now how it lines up with a little bit of, it's pretty much to the bottom here, but there's a space up here that I can cut it off. I can cut it open, and I'll cut it open in a little bit after I finish the rest of the pocket. So let's get my glue here, and I'm going to get my art glitter glue. Get that on here. I've been wanting to do this video for a number of days, and I have been so busy. I haven't had time to have any fun with my work on my journals. And yesterday was my birthday, but I ended up, well, we celebrated. My son came and made dinner for us on Wednesday night, because that's when he had off of work. Okay. Whoop. And then I'll do this one. And then yesterday, I ended up getting a really bad headache. It was a sinus thing. There must be a lot of pollen out there right now. Like palm tree pollen and things I'm not used to from living up north. And it really wreaks havoc with my sinuses. So I had a really bad headache and I ended up just laying down. Okay, so now I'm going to slide this one on. Whoops, I got it a little bent there. Okay. Now, it's a little bit off, but you won't even see it because when you get your cheesecloth on it, it hides a multitude of sins. Whoops. Okay. Now I'm just going to cut some of this. Now, you don't need a whole lot, but I do like to see it. So I'm just going to cut kind of a narrow piece off this end. Okay. And this stretches way out. So this will be enough for both sides. I think I'll just cut it in half, kind of. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac on this because it is fabric. And what I do is I put it on before I glue it shut. I cut it in half because I'm going to do half at a time. So I'm going to put some of this on here. Let it stick out. You want to be able to see it from this side. I'll do that. I'm going to cut a little bit of this bulk off here because that'll come from the other side then. So let's do the other side. Alright, put some more on here. Oop, this one fell apart. It's okay. And look, it's even enough right here. I'm going to push that down a little bit. I got a little bit more showing on this side. Oops. Hope I'm staying in on the screen and camera. Cut off that chunk. Okay, so now that is what's going to show. I might add just a little bit right here. Come on, glue. What are these little pieces? I'll cut that off. Just seemed like there was a gap there. Okay, so that's what that's going to look like. And now I'm going to glue this shut. I'll just stick with Fabri-Tac because of the fact that it has to stick to this. Alright, and I'll just kind of go along this side right here, close to that, and then a little bit in here. Alright. And then I'm going to close that down. Now, the reason I didn't cut the slit across the top yet is because now this is glued shut. and it'll hold together. Otherwise, this whole thing will be loose, and you can do this on your cutter, or you can just do it by hand. And this is a point now where I double check that I didn't glue anything shut with the glue that I put on here. Okay, so this is all open. All right. And now, this is my up. So I have to make sure that I did that right. Forgot to put my pin back in here. Yeah, it's still open. So I'm going to put the glue on here. Like I said, I've already sewed on top of it, just single. And I'm ready. I'm going to be adding when I get this on here. Make sure I get it close to the edge. This paper is a little fragile, but I was able to sew on it, and once I get it glued on, it's going to be very secure as far as not ripping up and things like that. So now I'm going to put this one and kind of get it on. I cut this piece a little bit smaller than the envelope, so there would be a little edge all the way around. Okay. And at this point, you can chop an edge on it, and you can do it on one side, or you can do it on two. I'll do it on just this side. For this. And if I do that, I usually like to put a little bit of distress ink on it. And let's see, this is actually made to be like a tin top from Tracy Fox, which I did use on some of my tins and things, but I like the circle because it's cycling notes, and there's circle, like your cycle wheel and things. So I liked the round part, and I like that it's bigger because it just sort of fits right on here. All right, and then I thought I would put this kind of on here, and I did distress sews before so that I wouldn't be doing that on camera. Okay. Yeah, I'll put that here. Okay, so now that one's done. And I have one of my tea-dyed things, and I found this I thought would look okay with the coloring and everything, because it kind of went with, you know, with that, the colors that were in it. Let's get this on. I always get glue all over my fingers. That's all right, it washes off. All right. Okay. You don't even have to put that on. I didn't with some of that. And there is one completed. Okay, and I'm going to do this one. I'm going to actually do the paper with you here. So, got to remember to start using this when I put my glue and pin on. If I put it in there, I don't get it lost. And I had a really good habit of doing that, and then I stopped. Whoops. Something in there. I dropped it. Okay, this is the card that I'm going to use in here. And I did find a whale tail from Artie Mays that I can use for the color that goes along with it. This one has kind of orangish on one side and it has pink on the other. So I found one that would kind of go with the pink on this side. So I'll may as well do that before I lose it again. All right. Okay. And I might just back up just a little bit so that I make sure that you can see everything. Okay, that should work. Okay, get this on. Now some of the other ones I used, like this one I used ribbon. This one I used a piece like that was on the cardstock. Here I've got a little bit of sewing, like an old tape. So, you know, you have your variety of things that you can do. So this one will be, okay. Now, I thought for this one that I would use this. This is a piece, this is a digital that I had, and I'm going to put it on both sides. And for this side, I'm going to put the writing in this direction, and I'll be using lace. I'll show you how I use lace like I did on that other one. So you can do this a variety of ways. You want to measure kind of like, I'm going to take this edge off here, and you can just go ahead and rip it. I like to use my metal ruler and just do that. And then I'll see where I need it to be. I remember I have to cut a little bit of that off. So let's see. I'll make sure I do it inside these lines. I'll do it on this side so I can see where I am. I'm going to go in just a little bit so that I have a little bit of a gap. And you can cut these with your cutter, you know, whatever you want to do. But you want to get the piece that it's not totally the same size, but a little bit smaller. And I am going to then do the same thing I did. Put it up to the top, because when I flip it then, it'll be the opposite, and I'll have there we go. I'll have that space to cut off. I'll do this before I cut it, just because I can do it right on here like this to make it look nice and old. And then I'll cut it. This is just paper. It's a little more fragile. All right. We'll let this one be more dramatic, since there's not a lot on it. Okay. Again, I'll put this on first, and I'll use my our glitter glue. Trying to get back in the habit. I have a number of the pins for the top of here because I kept putting it down and losing it, and I'd get out another one and then I'd find it. So I just stuck them in there, so if I do forget to put it in, I always can grab another one and I can get that in there, and then it always turns up. But for a while I was really doing well. I had a great habit of putting that pin in there so that I did not lose it. Okay. Get this down here, kind of line it up with that. And then we'll get this one on. I think I'll actually decorate the front before I put the lace on because it gets a little harder to, it's a little bulkier then. So I'll do the lace last. My head's getting in the way. Okay. That will be like that. Okay, we'll do the rest of it later. This one is going to be to get the writing on the top. This one I'm going to do a little bit of lace, or this big lace on it, on the whole front. And I still need to do this. I need to figure out about where I need to rip it. Now this one I'm just going to be ripping the white off the edge. And then a little bit inside of there. Kind of making sure I'm doing this straight. Alright. And if I only need to take a little bit off, it's better for me to put the ruler on the little bit, and if I hold it down, I can usually rip it and just get that little bit off. Much harder to take this off from the other side. That's just a little thing. Now let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to be sewing on this one. I'm just going to put the whole thing together and show you. I've had another one of these little things from the stamping tin. I put it right on the lace. And now I'm going to, after I put my pin back in my glue bottle, I'm going to put some art glitter glue. I probably could put this on first, since I'm not doing any sewing. I'll do that. Get that glue on there. So next week, we're going to be going up to Chattanooga, where my sister lives and her daughter, who have the baby. And we'll all be getting together. And I'm going to give her the quilt that I finished for her. And I haven't shown it at all because she might see it ahead if I did that. So I'll show you a picture of it next week. Okay. Need to get that more even. I'm going to put the Distress ink on now. Alright, now this is going to go on. I got to make sure, yeah, like this. And let's see, I think I'll do it on the lace. Oops. Sorry, I'm just putting my pin back in. So when I was making the baby quilt, my niece had given me a piece of her wallpaper they put on one side of the baby's bedroom, and I had to match it to that. So took me a while to get at it. I'm going to put some on these bigger spots here. Doesn't have to be 100% put down, but the edges need to be, and some of the middle, or it will move. And around here I can just put it anywhere because it's under the picture. Anyway, the wallpaper had foxes and bunnies and plants and things, and they're really into nature and hiking, the parents. And so that is partially, I made kind of a woodsy theme, and then let's see, I had some of these I thought I'd put on. Let's see how we did it. My husband is a wood carver, so he carved a fox, and so the baby his name is Jules. So Jules is getting a quilt from his grunty Carol, that stands for great aunt, and for a carved fox from Grunkle Richard. We actually were named that by two of our grandnieces, and I kind of liked it. So we'll keep it. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? She just reminded me of one of those ladies that would have been really smart back in the day and, you know, did things during World War II or whatever. And I'll put that one up there. And having, you know, like the ladies who figured out all the math for all kinds of stuff during the war. Although a lot of them were black women even. So she doesn't fit that, but I'm sure there was a lot of women who did things that were very smart. Probably should have used, here, I'm going to redo that. Used my Fabri-Tac. Now, our glitter glue will stick, but it takes longer. And this, I should have used that because it's on here. Because I'm seeing that this thing isn't sticking real good either. Take it off and put on some of the Fabri-Tac. It sticks better on the lace, which is a fabric. Yeah, this will be much better. We'll do Fabri-Tac on the other two as well. And then I'll show you how to put the lace on, which is similar to the other stuff. Oops. Okay, just tilt it a little. These are from Tracy Fox. Okay, so that's the front. Now the back. We need to get that lace on there. For the lace, I just did it all in one piece. So I'm going to put some glue on here. Getting down there. Takes a minute for it to get down to there. I'll put the glue on and then attach the lace. And I will kind of stick it onto here so that this part is pretty much hidden and just the lace part is sticking out. And then I'll just kind of squish this together a little bit to get it to go around the corner. And put that on. Oh, I'm going to just put a little bit more Fabri-Tac. I didn't get a lot right on this edge. Okay. I'm going to cut this off. I need to take a little bit more. Now I'm going to glue this. Put that on here like I did with when I did the cheesecloth. Get it nice and glued on there. Right. I'll get that glued shut. Now I am going to cut some of this edge off here so that you don't really see it much from the front. And then I'm going to cut the top off. Make sure that I didn't glue it shut. Yeah, I can tell by looking, but just to slide that in there, make sure I didn't get any glue that would glue that pocket shut. And this I'm going to have to cut by hand because that my cutter won't cut through fabric, so I'm just gonna kind of try to cut like a little piece out of here. All right. Got kind of a little bit of ink on this lace on the edges. Kind of make it blend in a little bit better. And there is that pocket done. Again, You can put these into your book using clips or, you know, paper clips, altar paper clips. Oops, I got a little goober on there, a little glue goober. Taking some of the color off. Too much on my hands. Alright, so I'll just put a little bit of this on there to kind of blend that in. Okay, altar pocket, very simple on this side. You could put decorations on there too, and you've got that. And then I said we had a little bonus for you, and that is using paper bags, little paper bags. So I was kind of working on a couple little things for the circus journal that I'm really going to get into. And I thought I would just add this on as a little bonus. So I am going to do a little bit of distressing, but I'm going to leave it mostly white. I've coffee dyed things like these bags too. And I have this bag. This one opens up, you know, it's got the sides on it. So it opens up like that. So, but I'm going to use this for a little tuck on the side. And then the top part the whole bag will be glued in, and this will be the pocket for a tag. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and kind of cut this out of here before I even put the front on. Cut. Ooh, that didn't cut very good. Doesn't like to cut. I should have probably put something else underneath it. Too thin sometimes doesn't want to cut. I see. Should have a smaller scissors for cutting this little schnibble off here. That's my Midwestern talk, schnibble. It's kind of a German word for little tiny pieces. And that was the area of Wisconsin I grew up in. We had a lot of German ancestry. Okay, now this one I just kind of fussy cut out this little acrobat guy, and I'm going to put him on the front, and that'll be just like a little pocket for putting a tag in, or journal card, or stationery, or whatever I end up putting it in. I looked, and I actually had started making things for this circus journal over a year ago. And of course, I made other stuff in between, but I just kind of had put this aside, and I didn't keep it up. Okay, so I want him totally on the thing, but I wanted him to be doing his little acrobats. And that'll be just one little pocket. And then this one, I thought I would put this on it. There'll be a little tuck here, but you see it doesn't go down very far because it only goes down to here. So it can't be much of anything, a real big thing, but I will put a little tiny card in there, a little circus card. And then I made kind of like a little snippet that I'm going to put down on here. So I'll go ahead and put these on. And you know, you can I find these little bags in the Dollar Tree, which is $1.29 or 25 now. But I find these little bags in the party section, and I always check because they have different ones that come in and they're different colors. And I thought this one here looked like, you know, bright, like my circus thing. Circus things are bright. And there's a lot of in the ephemera that I'm making and that I have. I had bought some digitals, and I'll put those down below when I'm actually working on the journal, the ones that I bought. So you can, if you're interested, you can find them. Got them from Etsy. When I first started, I wouldn't buy any digitals, but I was buying stuff like Tim Holtz ephemera packs and that type of thing. And I thought, well, when they're gone, they're gone. The digitals I can print again, and I can use them over and over again. So this one, then I'm going to put glue on this edge and this edge, so that when I flip that up, that becomes that little pocket. And I will have to let it dry, but then the bigger piece will go into this bag here. And a little piece will go in here. So that's your little bonus. Now, one more thing before I leave. I have to pull this out. Oh, well, I should have pulled it out ahead. I've got it sort of stuck in here. This box is everything that I made during the 12 days of pockets. I have all of the different pockets that I made. So adding these in here that I did today. Look at all those pockets. So if you haven't been working along with me when you need pockets, go ahead and go through the series and you'll have lots and lots of pockets. A lot of these are not completely decorated because I'll decorate them for the journal that I put them in, but I still do. Look at all those pockets. Yay! Okay, so next will be a journal about working on the circus and, you know, making the cover and all of that, and we'll get going on that series. And of course, I've been making the ephemera all the way along, so you won't see me make everything, but it'll be on there. Whoops, I missed a couple pockets. Well, one of them is the one my friend made. Okay, anyway, that's great. Thanks for being with me today. If you're a subscriber, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you're not yet, then there's a little button over there you can click on to subscribe. So thank you very much for being here. And I had fun doing this series, even though it took me a lot longer than technically the 12 days, because I did work in between. It is now a series of 12 different kinds of pockets that you can make. Okay, so this is Carol from Friendly Quail saying bye.